This is Hannibal here from the HannibalTV.com, back from a workout. And I also got my fourth COVID shot and flu shot before the workout. So guess what? It had zero effect on the workout. And I got them because my mother asked me to. But let me get into the news. NXT was down this week, 0.13 rating. On his Grilling JR podcast, Jim Ross said he didn't trust Johnny Ace, a.k.a. John Laurinaitis, in WWE. He said, quote, "I had a hard time as time went on trusting Laurinaitis. That's sad to say. I hired him. I gave him a job when he needed it. I don't think he treated me quite right. He just wanted to show Vince that he was a better manager than JR and all these things. So now his ass is without a job and he deserves the goddamn misery that he's living, that I perceive that he's living. And I didn't like how he treated me." End quote. Now, of course, Jim Ross was head of talent when WCW closed down and would have hired Johnny Ace on as an agent. And then Johnny Ace eventually took JR's job. But from what I understand, he got like what's known as a parachute settlement when he was released, I guess, for something to do with basically being given one of the girls Vince McMahon was banging after Vince was done with him. During all this time, he was married to Bella's mother. Maybe that's why the Bellas got in the Hall of Fame. Who knows? I'm not saying they didn't deserve to eventually be in there, but I don't think Elizabeth is in there yet. And they put the Bellas in before Elizabeth. Maybe that was a favor. But Johnny Ace was nice when he called me to hire me, because it was a conference call that Johnny Ace was on. But the previous times I dealt with him, a lot of the times he was a complete dick as an extra. So what can you say? That's part of his job. I can honestly remember one time he was such a dick to me. It was in 2005. I was used as an extra in Toronto and Montreal. And Tommy Dreamer had given me the impression that I was actually going to get a tryout match in Toronto, but they didn't end up doing anything with me. And I interrupted Johnny Ace when he was talking to one of the potential divas, a good-looking girl by the ring, and I got yelled at. And I remember I was so pissed off that I actually just took my bags and left. I didn't even stay for the show. But I did go to Montreal the next day. But I remember my dad was pissed because my dad had driven me from Ottawa to Toronto for that. And he had bought tickets to the Raw. But I'm like, I came back from Calgary to be part of this thinking I was going to have a match. And this asshole just yelled at me for interrupting him, I guess, which I thought I was doing politely. But anyways, water under the bridge. I'm happy the way things turned out. By the way, University of Tampa bodybuilder Melanie Brzezenski is one of the people with zero wrestling experience participating in a recent WWE tryout. So there you go. By the way, Ted Hart is going to do his first interview since his documentary came out. That I guess the first part of it, the part 1 episode, actually aired after Raw last week, but didn't air after Raw this week. So maybe it didn't get good enough ratings, but it did get a 0.06 rating last week. So considering Rampage only got a 0.08 rating last week, that's not bad. But he's going to be on Saturday. There was supposed to be a Tom Pritchard podcast tonight. I don't know what happened with that, but there is a new Kevin Sullivan podcast. Yeah, Jason, I don't know. He's a busy guy. So you never know. But there's been a lot of Tom Pritchard podcasts posted this week because sometimes they don't do them live and they send them to me after. So I think I posted 3 in the past 7 days. So there should be enough Tom Pritchard on this channel to keep everybody happy for a while. Wallace likes Jim Ross and would rather have him working where he's being respected. Well, supposedly he's making more money than he's ever made in AEW. And they don't even use him for the full pay-per-views. Tony Khan doesn't care about money so much. He'd rather pay for 2 commentary teams. Here's another funny thing. Apparently he let William Regal out of his contract when he could have picked up the option for him to renew. But I was thinking about it. William Regal is one of the most known people AEW has. So they let him go to back to WWE to help out Triple H. He may not have been happy in AEW with the younger high school locker room, but you've been signing all these nobodies and you're going to let William Regal go. I'm not saying William Regal's a main event draw, but for people flipping through the channels, they might stop for a few minutes if they see someone recognizable like Regal. So, again, I don't quite understand him hiring all these guys. And the other thing, he's hiring a lot of Japanese guys. And just on this Kevin Sullivan podcast that was posted today on Eric Bischoff, was just listening to it. And when New Japan wrestlers wrestled in WCW, New Japan paid for them. So wasn't that a better deal? Wasn't Eric Bischoff a better businessman to actually have New Japan pay to use these wrestlers that were used sparsely, but they didn't even have to pay for them? Meanwhile, Tony Khan is signing all these guys that aren't making any difference in the ratings. The ratings there are bombing lately. But anyways, not my problem. It gives me more to talk about, so I'm glad there is AEW. But I'll call it a night on that. God bless Tony Khan and everybody out there. Positive vibes to everybody out there, other than Kevin Owens. He's a piece of crap.
Thank you for watching the Hannibal TV. Please like this video if you enjoyed it and click the subscribe button to not